Welcome to another episode. This is Awakening 101. I'm Jeremiah, and this is Chaz. Today, we're diving into something you, my friend, have never, will ever, and never have you ever heard of before in your life. This is, Chaz, what do we call it?
Mallegoo.
The Mallegoo theory.
It is the Mallegoo theory. Yes.
And you haven't heard that before because this is what Chaz has been diving the past couple of days to a week to a month, his entire life.
Yeah, 20 years actually into this one.
But he's finally come to the Mallegoo theory.
I have. This is true.
Welcome back to Awakening 101. Today, we're talking Mallegoo. And I know that word sounds absolutely ridiculous.
That's why I like it.
It's so good. You came up with the word the goo theory, and I was like, oh my God, that's great. I love it. And then the next day you were like, whoa. I changed the name. It's going to be Mallegoo theory. And it was through text, so I didn't technically know how he was pronouncing it. And then I came over and he was like, the Mallegoo theory. I was like, yes, yeah, beautiful. Rolls off the tongue. It's
the Mallegoo.
It like goos out of your mouth.
Yeah. It just goos right on out. It's malleable goo. It's Mallegoo. And it's the way I start to see the ether. So if you're wondering what this is really a quantum physics theory of mine on the universe and what's really going on. And we have been calling it space-time or the ether, or the Egyptians called it the net, this water fluid-like substance that we exist in, and what is it and what comes from it and how does it... This is what I have tried to spend my life. I've dedicated an abnormal amount of my life to this.
Abnormal amount?
Really an abnormal amount. And the silently in the background, no one knows this about me. And this is really the first year I've ever come out to even tell people. Even my own wife is like, what? And I've been with my wife for 10 years. I don't tell anybody this shit. It's because it just seems crackpotty. But I do believe I have gotten to a point where I can at least make sense of a nice chunk of it that I do believe we're being lied to about it. Yeah. And I have come to this realization that we can't call it what they've been calling it. We need to call it something new.
We have to get off the mainstream verbiage, basically.
To some degree.
Yeah.
I think we got to bridge the gap.
Because you have to think differently.
We have to change. Some of the definitions aren't right. And if you keep those words, the definitions come with them. And I did it to me, where I'm thinking of the ether, and I'm thinking of Einstein's fluidity of the ether. And it's not. That's not what this is. And that hit me on what it really seems more like. And that's when I said, it's like a goo substance. And then I started thinking, but that's not quite right. It's like a malleable goo. And really, it's an elastic fluid. It's an elastic fluid, but I call it the Mallegoo.
Okay, so let's explain elastic. What is elasticness? Why?
There's two parts to when you think about how atoms and how electrons and these things develop, how electricity happens, and how does a particle come to be? And so you're going to have two parts to the ether, this Mallegoo, and the Mallegoo would need to be a fluid. It needs to flow. It needs to have shape to it. It needs to be able to create things, blend, mold, things like that. Mm-hmm. But there's another part to it. It hit me. It was on one of the videos that you actually put on the text or whatever, is if you were to drop the Earth onto this fabric of space-time that Einstein talks about, he says it dips in and warps, but it stops.
Instead of just and going, it just keeps going.
You drop a rock in water, what just stops the rock?
The ground, whatever the water's sitting on.
Wherever the end is, yeah. So, what would keep the Earth from doing that?
Because we are a geode, a rock, basically.
We're a giant mass of a rock. Yeah. That's what Einstein said. Mass is gravity. So the bigger you are, the more weight you're putting on the fabric. But what holds the fabric up? The elasticity. The structure of it. It's elastic. It's not just fluid. It is a fluid, but it's also elastic. It's an elastic fluid. It can bend and stretch. It can reverberate kinetic energy through it.
Is that where the idea of like stretching space-time comes into play?
Bingo. That is time dilation. You can then take elastic ether, the Mallegoo, and you can stretch it further, and now it's just going to take you longer to get from A to B. So you take A and B, takes 1 mile, you could stretch it to 2 miles, and now it's just going to take you 2 miles to get there. That's time dilation. You don't really know that the distance is longer because it's the reality of your existence being extended. You don't know you're in this Mallegoo right now. You don't know you're in it. So how could you know that it's being stretched? You couldn't. So things take longer to happen, and we call it time dilation, and we call it a stretching of time. We say all these terms, by the way, that are like so analogous to what's really going on, but we're like, nah, it's a fluid. And so like it's stretching the actual fabric. It's putting that tension on it and pulling it, and that's going to now take longer to get through. And so that's time dilation. That's the elasticity of it. There needs to be fluidity and structure.
Are we on Earth living in a version of this Mallegoo?
Mallegoo? It is everything, and we are just within it.
Are we just in a different density of it?
Yeah, so like I guess there would be different densities of it based on how many magnetic fields you're in. You know, because it's like, what is a magnet? And what is a magnet doing? What's a field? We all talk about these fields, these vector fields, these magnetic fields, gravitational fields, these Higgs fields, and all these fields. Everybody,
so many fields.
Crop fields, yeah. And like, for a long time, what the fuck is a field? Like, what is a field? And then we're like, oh, but we got quantum field theory. And you're like, what the fuck is a field, dude? I'm trying to find out what a field is. And you're like, it's
unimportant. You don't need to know.
You don't really need to know. Don't worry about it. And you're like, all right, well, what's a magnet? It's flux lines.
But also, you don't need to know.
Don't worry about it. And I'm like, well, what is a flux line? It's an arrangement of electrons in a line that all flow in a circle, dude. Don't question me. And you're like, well, so there's just lines coming out of it? Yeah. Yeah. And that's a field. Okay, so these lines are a field. Is it like uniform? No, it's like lines. There's individual lines. So there's gaps in between the lines. Well, mathematically, no, but yes.
Chaz, you're not supposed to ask questions.
Yeah, dude, I could do this forever.
You're just not supposed to ask questions. And they're like, just no.
Yeah, like, this is why they've muddied the waters on what a magnet is. I dare someone to go try to find out what a magnet. Yeah, a triple double dog dare. Boom, been done. Smackdown. Go figure out what a magnet is and come tell me what it is. And if you tell me they're flux lines and electrons in an order, I'm gonna lose my shit on you because that is so wrong and not right and just. It
sounds smelly.
It's way smelly because you'll go read this, you'll regurgitate it to me. I will then tear it apart all day. Don't do it. I'm daring you to figure out what one is, and I'm daring you to do it without telling me it's flux lines.
Yeah, we love the regurgitation. It sounds like,
dude, I get regurgitated that shit every time.
Sounds like a $2 taco.
It's just flux lines, man. They're lines that are just created of electrons in order that spin around in a closed loop. Like, oh, did Maxwell tell you that? Drives me nuts, dude. That shit, it bothers me because I believed this for a long time.
Yeah, you were one of these, whatever we're calling them.
Truly, I believed in a graviton particle for a long time. I thought gravity was a particle. That's fucking hilarious now, you know? Like, this is all crazy.
So I didn't go to school, right? We've established this.
Yeah,
which means I didn't get to experience science. I loved that class, but I was so bad at it and I didn't understand anything. Like the periodic table kind of doesn't exist in my life. People talk about it and I'm like,
probably a good thing.
Which one is that again? I'm like, it's salt. I'm like, oh, right. Yeah, I knew that.
You don't know what AU is?
It sounds like university, but I don't know.
Gold.
I know.
Come on, dude.
Ooh, should I get an AU tat right here?
Yeah. I'll get one too over here. We'll be like best buds or whatever.
Done.
So what have you thought about all of this? What did you know about the ether, about the goo, or any of this? And you can just say I didn't literally know a damn thing.
Bro, I'm still processing the Mallegoo theory. And again, re-listening to this podcast is going to help solidify a lot of questions. Because like in the moment, it's hard for me to process what's happening or what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But then I listen to it as a third party, like, as someone on the outside, and it starts making sense to me. I'm like, that's what we were talking about. Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I hope,
I
I hope that you're willing to then be like, yo, this doesn't make sense.
I will. Absolutely.
And challenge me to then further explain it. Or if I can't, then I don't know it myself.
I will not hold back. And I think that's one of the best parts about our dynamic duo is that I will ask all the questions. Once I understand the questions to ask, I find every single question to ask.
That's why I like talking.
Because I poke the holes wherever I can find them.
Yo, and you make me rethink things. And I'm like, oh, shit, I didn't even think about that. Oh, God. And I don't know how to answer this anymore.
All my life,
That's
I
really
grew
wild.
up asking questions that people were like, stop asking questions. Stop asking me questions. And I was like, but I want to know.
Don't ever stop. Don't ever stop asking.
The questions are the awakening.
Yeah.
You start asking questions, you're waking up.
That's what happened here is, well, what's a magnet? It's flux lines. Well, what's flux lines? It's these current of electrons. Well, it's the current of electrons. Well, what's an electron? Okay, well, it's this quantum fermion particle. Well, what's a quantum fermion particle? Well, it's this frequency of energy that has mass and charge. Well, what is that? Where did it come from? What is it in? And how does it just disappear? And what is this wave of energy? Do you see?
So you're saying,
just keep going, dude. Don't ever stop.
One question sent you down a rabbit hole, and they're trying to stop you at that one question, but you just keep asking questions, and they always have something to like.
Yo, what's the first question I had?
When
the question that started me on the journey.
We're live. I don't know.
Come on, I put you on the spot. You're supposed to just be able to narrow it.
I know. So bad.
When I was young, okay.
Oh, right. I know now. I am aware of this.
You were there. Don't lie. I went to my grandmother's house. I saw a outlet on the wall that had 2 prongs instead of 3. And in that moment, I remember asking my father, yo, Dad.
Daddy-o.
I said it just like that. Yo, Dad. Yo, Daddy-o. Yeah, that's what I said. I probably said father because that's what I call him. But anyways, I was like, yeah, Dad, why does this only have 2 prongs? And he was like, that's how they used to be. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, that's how I grew up with them. And then we came to 3 prongs. And I was like, so you're telling me in the 70 years of electricity, we went from 2 prongs to 3 prongs? Yes, that is exactly right. In that moment, I thought to myself, how the fuck does everything just advance at such a rate that is insane to comprehend? And yet electricity, which drives all of the innovation, doesn't innovate at all from the start.
All of the innovation. Quite literally.
It drives all of it. And then if you ask people, they tell you, we've already figured, what more do you want to get out of it? We've already done it. We've already figured it out. It's already done.
They put a hard halt on that.
Dude.
It was like, nope, not going any further than this.
Impressive.
Can we talk about the idea that Einstein may have figured it out and kept his mouth shut? Can we dabble in this, or is that
if we want to get banned?
Fringe?
If we want to get banned, we can do that.
He's not here anymore.
True.
Therefore, they might not ban us for this.
Look, he got the Nobel Prize in 1905 for discovering the photon. And that I will, this is the part though that also is a struggle. It's like, yes, we are observing these things and they are there. I'm not saying that particles in any sense aren't real. What I'm saying is that the way that they have described them and what they claim they are is not real. And so they've just muddied the waters on what a real particle is. So the photon, I do think, does exist to some degree, but it's not what they say it is. It's an observation of a kind of an effect of something. It's a result, a conclusion, something that comes. What do you call this? Of like a, it's an ending to something. It's a manifestation. It emerges and it manifests itself from something else. Okay,
right.
And so the interaction, we don't see photons. The only way we can see a photon is we create enough energy that when it interacts with something, because remember, when the energy is flowing, we don't see a photon. Only once we interact with the wave of energy does it break down and become the photon we then see. Or we shoot it at something, hit it, and then see a photon. So you inherently have to destroy whatever the energy is to even get one to come from it. Same with an electron. An electron is only an emergence of something happening. So you send an electrical energy pulse into some material and you're going to burn it off. And it's going to release this thing that we then see as electrons that just disappear immediately too. And so like, oh, they have the same mass and charge. Therefore, they're an electron. But we only see them when they have emerged from something that we have caused. They don't just exist there in any capacity that we've ever seen.
Interesting.
This is all observational shit that they're like, we've seen them. No, you've seen mass and energy flowing. You've never seen a particle. You saw mass and energy. You saw a wave of kinetic, elastic energy in the ether that then was dissipated and blended like fluid back into itself. And it has a spin to it. You'll all say it has a spin. These spins. What the fuck is a spin? And then you'll be like, oh, well, it doesn't actually spin. Well, then why do we say it spins? And why does math say it has a spin to it? And so, like, there's a problem with that, right?
Yep.
That's where the vortices come in. We're seeing the vortex spin off of this, and it has a spin and a mass and a charge. And if you were to hit something at enough of a power and a rate, then you're going to see the same mass and charge ejected from the collision every time. It's wave dynamics. These two waves clash, and you're going to see an emergence of interference of like these two things are going to create something new, a droplet of water coming out of it.
Yeah.
Boom. That's really what we're seeing. It's not a real particle per se. It's a energy flow away from a reaction. It's an emergence that we see. That's why a lot of my theory comes into this idea of like matter, gravity, magnetism are all emergence from the Mallegoo. They are not forces. They're not the actual force. We all say that magnetism and gravity is a force. Neither one are forces. Both are observational, emergent things that come from the force.
Whoa.
And that's a big change in my head. I never thought that either until like this week, dude.
Why do they think that then of magnets? Is that something you think they've conjured up to tell us? Or is that something they actually believe in?
Something tells me that like the government and shit, they already know all this. They already have all of this. They know it.
They have ancient records of everything that's ever been thought of and already existed. Like all of the truths have already been written down somewhere.
Here's the weird part. I sat down with ChatGPT and I tried to rewrite Einstein's equation for gravity into an idea because he pretty much places electromagnetism as the core part of this. And when I added in fluidity into the equation, I added it with electromagnetism. And this is getting a little deep into a sense, but like it hit me in that moment that it's not electromagnetism. That's not part of, that's an observation of it. That's an emergence of what's coming from that. And so you had to like change how he saw it and kind of just wipe that part out and plug in the new Mallegoo. And then the Mallegoo will describe its elasticity and fluidity at that point and give you the rest of this. And so like what they say is a magnet and what they've gone down this road as a magnet is all these observational visual things that we keep seeing and keep coming to conclusions on. But I would then dare to say that someone like Einstein came in and he then, after 1904 with his 1905 his Nobel Prize, he then comes out with special relativity in like 1916. After all of this, he then sits down and says, I'm going to unify gravity with magnetism, and I'm going to do it with an ether that is a fluid. And the problem is, in my head, is that fluid inside the equation no longer works. It didn't work when I started looking at it. I didn't even have to like work anything out. It just started looking through it and started like just kind of visualizing what this meant. And I thought, whoa, does it work? And then I turned around and said, okay, it's not a fluid then. So what the fuck is it? Well, it has structure. It kept dawning on me. It holds the earth up. It has elasticity. It has like a strength to it, structured.
Right.
It's an elastic fluid. And how Einstein wouldn't have thought of this after he's the one that came up with the fabric himself.
Right.
The whole thought experiment that I just broke down, he thought of. And you're going to tell me that this man never thought of this? Bullshit. He definitely thought of it. Not only that, he fucking concluded it. He had unified everything in my head. He just, by that point, he didn't want to fucking come out and say it.
Do you think he told anyone about it?
No.
Do you think
if he did, it would have been Oppenheimer or one of the guys that would have been at that level with him. Oppenheimer's at the same time he was commissioned by the government to build the first atom bomb. So Oppenheimer was trying to accomplish that, and he was in communication with Einstein at that time, and a lot of, like they were all those guys back then were communicating, and I think they're probably,
I'm sure, right?
There's a part of me that says they probably figured out the atom bomb before anybody else because Einstein and these guys figured this out. And the only way anybody else really got it after that was because they stole it from us. Like, we got it first, and then everybody just like took it. No one else like came up with it, from as far as I know. We were the own, right? Correct. We were the ones that came up with it. Everybody else just regurgitated it. And so, how did we do that? And here's the weirdest part to me that will come back into the equation side of it. When I had just the fluid in the equation, it didn't. Even ChatGPT didn't really say much about it. It was like, oh, this is really good. When I came back, and I then wanted to put elasticity and fluidity in there and have EM, electromagnetism, and gravity become an emergence of it. Not only did ChatGPT start to get excited of how good it was, okay?
So you got Chat excited?
I got Chat excited.
Woo.
It then started telling me how these equations were already being done in this new emergent science of like magnogravity and fluid gravity and all this like plasma elastic fluid shit that I'm like,
dude,
wait, what the fuck? And then I find out that the idea of a magnet being a vortice, we've seen this in experiments visually. We have observed this phenomenon of vortices becoming a self-sustaining thing inside of a fucking thick liquid.
Interesting. Something like a Mallegoo?
Something like a Mallegoo, but they call it viscoelasticity.
Viscoelasticity.
Yeah, it's viscoelastic. So it's like viscosity, so like thickness and then elastic.
What did they make their goo out of? What do you know?
I don't know, because I don't think you can make a truly elastic fluid goo, a Mallegoo, like the way I see it in my head. It's like different. It's outside of our dimensions. And so we could only get close. And so like something like mercury or plasma, actual plasma, which is like matter so heated that it's like in a liquid, like liquid metal or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like almost like liquidy, but it's very thick.
Can you harness this goo from space?
I would say that that's what energy is. That's electricity. So if you're going to accumulate or harness it, you're tapping into the kinetic energy of it. Otherwise, yeah, we can quantumly entangle particles and create calculations in quantum computers. And so at that point, that means that you could take two fermions or two particles and you could put them together and you could entangle them in together, and then you could stretch them across space if you wanted to. And we can do that now. How the fuck do you do that without knowing about all this shit, dude? You tell me you think that this is not vortices and stuff, and then you're just going to be able to pull this shit off?
Right. Unlikely.
Nah, dude, gravity, Einstein's equations told us a lot of things, but it can't tell us everything. And that's why people have been trying to unify it, is because it does explain a lot. It does. And that's a problem with Einstein's theory, is like you can't refute it because it proved things that we can observe in so many ways that you can't deny what he's saying. You can just deny the extent of what it was said. It's a part truth.
Yeah, especially if you've already won a Nobel Prize and you're just like,
Dude,
like
they handed that shit to him quick, man. Before he even thought of any of the gravity stuff, any of the special relativity, all of that, dude.
But didn't win anything for all that.
None of it. It was all later on. He won none of it for any of that. It was the first thing, 1905, photoelectric effect, the proof of the photon, boom, Nobel Prize. All the other shit that we actually know him for and we talk about him for, nothing. Not a fucking thing on that. Why?
Wow.
But the photon, the photo... Did you guys know that he won a Nobel Prize for the fucking photoelectric effect, not gravity, not E = mc squared? Nothing, none of that.
What's a photoelectric effect?
That light carries packets of photons.
Okay.
Particles that are photons, that they are, they have a spin of one. They are not a fermion of a tornado. They are a two-sided tornado with the whole thing connected.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And you've talked to me a little bit about this, so I can like explain it to you really quickly that way. For people who are, they're like, "The fuck is he talking about?" And I totally understand where you're coming from on that side of things, and we'll try to get there here in a minute because that's really comes to the heart of what a magnet is, and really what magnetism is a fluid in shape. And the shape creates the field.
Right. We talk about magnets in the mainstream world, and then we have these things here. And this is what our minds go to. You know, a magnet. It's just this. That's all it is. We use them to hold things up on our refrigerator. And that's where all of us normies think a magnet is. Like, that's all we can comprehend because we haven't been told anything about magnets.
So tell me your best theory, because this is where I came to, is like, all right, electrons are in this cycle, so they're all like in an orderly fashion. They call it the moment of alignment or some shit. I forgot what they call it. Anyways, what causes a magnet to attract to another magnet? And then in reverse, what causes a magnet to repel another magnet? Please, someone explain this shit to me without telling me flux lines.
The strong force and the weak force.
The strong force? Yeah.
Duh. We all know this.
Electrons are shooting out and then pushing away the other one, or they reach out and they grab them.
You took it.
And they pull them in.
I was going to say, they all just like reach out and start grabbing at it.
Dude, if you believe in particle theory,
done.
Isn't that kind of how it has to work, right? Like,
easy peasy. There's little hands that reach out and grab it. Just like a million of them.
My field lines and your field lines.
You can see them. Little hands just like, boop. And they grab it real tight, actually. Like, that's real strong hands.
Hey, my strong hand. My strong hand. No, grab my strong hand. Let me grab your other hand. No, this is my strong hand.
You know that's a Mandela effect up in that movie, right?
No.
We're not talking about that, but it is, yeah.
Did he really
It's about something? He's at the window and says something, and it wasn't said that way.
Like, Luke, I'm your father?
Yeah, Luke. No, Luke, I am your father.
Yeah.
That was the original saying, and now it's just, no, I am your father.
No, I thought it was, Luke, I am your father.
It's, no, Luke, I am your father. Because, yeah.
Oh, God.
No. Mandela effects. We got to do an episode on Mandalas.
Look, man, I don't know how to put that into my Mallegoo theory.
No, we don't have to. We're done talking about it. Stop it. God. Next topic of the Mallegoo. Let's go. What do you got? We're done with Einstein. He's old news at this point.
Old news.
Thank you, Einstein, wherever you are. If you're in this room watching us right now.
Let's talk about one more thing with Einstein. We got to go back to Einstein.
He is clapping us on. He wants us to talk about him.
He wanted to.
It's fine. We got you.
We got you, buddy. I got you.
Little Steiny.
But I'm going to tell everybody a little flaw that no one knew, that I had to go down the road to find out.
Oh.
Einstein's original theory and equations for gravity were wrong. They didn't work.
How? Why? What?
They just broke down. It didn't work. He needed something that needed to get put in that was missing.
Now you're going down crackpot lane.
Crackpot right now.
Chaz, explain.
I know.
What in the world? Einstein knew everything.
Einstein did know everything until he didn't, and he needed fucking Planck.
Like from Ed, Ed, and Eddie?
For sure.
I mean, they did have a face drawn on that little plank of wood.
They did, yeah. And they definitely had cartoons back in 1905 or whatever. But yeah, no, for real. Yeah, for sure. There was a guy named Planck, all right? I think it's, Max Planck or something like that. Anyways, Planck's constant. Planck, in the year 1900, he's looked at as like the first quantum theorist. He's like the birth of quantum theory, all right? Because he came up with the quanta. That's really where it all comes from. It's like, why do we call it quantum? Quantum theory, the quantum world, is because the lowest possible packet of information or energy is a quanta.
I haven't heard quanta before.
Yeah, quanta is the singular term that Planck came to that describes a single packet of the lowest amount of energy particle that you can get to.
Whoa.
Is essentially Planck's constant. Planck's constant is kind of where I came to. Is how I got to this. Is that if if we're in this Mallegoo and it's elastic and it's fluid and it has this and the Casimir effect. Casimir effect was a famous 1940s quantum experiment in the vacuum. Put two conductive materials very close together like gold, and you'll start seeing attractive forces in a magnetic field appear, and we call these things virtual particles. It's a bunch of fucking nonsense, but long story short, you do have fluctuations and you're having this bubbly goo, and we've seen this in observations that this is happening in some form or fashion. We just call them virtual particles that are appearing and disappearing.
Virtual
so
particles.
We know that there is a natural frequency of the vacuum.
Okay.
So if you aren't to put in this natural frequency of energy flowing at all times in the goo, then at that point your equations for it would break down. He needed the natural frequency of the vacuum, and we look at that as Planck's constant.
Without it, it doesn't work.
Without that number, you don't have the equations for gravity, and Einstein never becomes anything other than the photoelectric effect.
So thanks, Mr. Planck.
Planck saved everything. Planck broke it all down. He said he not only did he do the smallest, but the largest. He said that this is the smallest packet of energy that the universe can create, and we call it a quanta. And then he said that this is the highest theoretical frequency you could achieve without ripping the fucking fabric open and creating a black hole.
Whoa.
Yeah. So,
okay.
And like kind of wild because like light is 10 to the 12 to 14 power, and his theoretical limit would be 10 to the 40 something power. So you're talking about a drastic jump.
A little bit.
And like light is some of the highest electromagnetic frequency before you start getting into radiation. So all Wi-Fi, all that shit, that's all lower than light. That's all lower vibrational shit than light. Light is very high vibrational. It's in the terahertz. It's extremely nanometer length between waves.
Whoa.
Really tight.
Like the stuff that... This stuff?
Yes, correct. So our eyes are tuned to nanometer level frequency of electromagnetic waves, and we'll void out anything else pretty much, anything higher. So this is high energy versus lower energy, and that's only to the power of 14, and he's saying that we could theoretically go up to like power 40-something before you fucking rip the fabric. So that's pretty intense, dude. So he not only... that they call that Planck's frequency.
Okay, he had a frequency.
Yeah, he had a frequency too. He's got Planck's constant, which is the lowest quanta of energy, and then measured in joules a second. So how many joules of energy do you get a second from the fucking goo?
What else did this Mr. Planck do?
Planck's a genius, dude.
A little bit, but all I've ever heard is the word Planck's constant from him.
Yeah,
but it sounds like he knew a lot more than just...
Well, Planck's frequency is the theoretical limit that the goo could then vibrate at without destroying itself.
That's gooey, baby.
That is some gooey shit right there, dude.
Yeah, it is.
That's some Mallegoo shit, dude. And so, like, Planck came up with all of this. But now, again, he had to develop that from equations from Newton and Maxwell and other guys before him that were laying the groundwork for, you know, like, how did he come up with the joule? He didn't. That was already kind of established. So there's a lot of things that he had to kind of build off of. But then Einstein had to do the same thing. Einstein had to then take what he had started and then plug it into his equation, because if you're going to try to equationalize and quantify the ether in the universe, well, then you need to know what it's doing at a natural state.
Right.
Otherwise, is that shit going to make sense?
Why did they even think about that? They were thinking like this back then?
Yeah, dude.
Like that's awesome to comprehend, the idea that they were considering the natural state of just being.
I will tell you right now that the people in the 1800s seem to have been closer than the ones in the 1900s.
Something started happening.
I'm telling you right now, those guys, like Lord Kelvin is the guy that I discovered on this journey this week.
Kelvin.
Didn't even know who Lord Kelvin was.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him?
Sorry, Kelvin.
He's the one that said that a magnet and an atom is actually just a vortex knot. Exactly what I've come to the conclusion of. And the only reason I found him is because I started peeking into anybody who's ever thought of this idea. Oh, there's been plenty of people in the 1800s who have thought of this.
So,
nobody in the 1900s. No. Only 1800s. It's some like, again, the photoelectric effect proved the particle, and that was the end of that shit. And even Maxwell and everybody bases all magnetic equations off of Maxwell's equations. They're like the foundation. He was in the 1800s, mid 1800s, so he's earlier than the other guys, and he's all about magnetism, and he's before quantum science became a thing, before Planck ever became a thing. He developed all the equations for figuring out magnetic force and kind of developed the flux lines in a sense to a certain degree. But he even says, I read it, he says you cannot move forward without considering a substance ether that everything is happening within. You cannot go forward without considering it as a possibility that this is how this is all working.
Whoa.
So, and not only that, but like everybody goes back to it. Einstein went back to it. Everybody ends up going back to this idea that you can't have all these interactions without some substance we're existing in.
Yeah.
What's vibrating? We know electromagnetic waves are out there, which means we know that they're waves of electric energy. They're frequencies. We know this. They are vibrations of the existence of our reality. We know this.
Is it the Mallegoo that's vibrating? Is
Yes.
it the source of vibration?
Correct. Yes.
Is there another source of vibration beyond the Mallegoo?
That's deeper into magnetic theory and like the fluid side of this. Because if a magnet is a vortex, like a tornado. Think of a tornado. The top of it swirling downward into a point, right? And so this right here is essentially a vortex that forms in the Mallegoo and becomes what we look at. This is what we would look at as a fermion, an electron. It's half spin. It only has half spin. It's spinning up here. That's it. There's no other spin, right? It's just half spinning versus a full spin. Because the top is spinning one direction and the bottom spinning another direction. Now you have full spin. This is a photon.
Would that be the infinity sign?
Correct. The spiral, the golden spiral goes in, and that. So we say these flux lines are passive energy flowing that are closed loops. It's because the energy of the elastic fabric, which string theory could come back into play here, okay? And so that elasticity string fabric being woven is spiraling as the golden spiral inward, and then the line would then continue to come out of the bottom and then just wrap back around into itself.
Right.
And start right back over again. And so it goes in clockwise, comes out counterclockwise, loops back around into itself and becomes its own thing. And it's just one uniform shape. And it's a donut.
That, yes, makes so much sense.
That's what's going on. That's why the golden spiral is so important. This is why toroidal shapes happen. How does a magnetic field create the donut? It can't just push electrons outward. It's just shooting electrons to keep things away. No, it creates a whirlpool. And now this thing creates the shape around in the donut area. Now you have fluid shape and geometry forming within the Mallegoo at that point. And that is what a particle is. That's what the fucking atom is. It's just a magnet, and a magnet is just vortex. I'll take it a step further.
Let's go.
We look at these two magnets and how they attract, right? That's because what's going on in the end is you have the swirl right here on the top. This is, the illusion. This is what the magnet is over here, right? It's the swirling inward of the goo, which means that anything that is of the same size and kind of ether size, ether dimension, would then fall into it. You would fall in it. The same way we're falling into the sun, the same way things fall into us, you would fall into it. You're not attracted, you're falling. You're falling into it. And then you have a North and a South Pole, right?
Yeah.
So you have the North Pole, you have the South Pole. So what happens when you then take the side that's attracting and you switch it? Now they don't. Now you can't do it. It's because they're swirling against each other. The Mallegoo, the whirlpool, is swirling at opposite repelling directions. They repel, but if they swirl in the same direction, they suck into each other. It's an attractive force. It's a I'm going to pull you in. But if you're not in the same vortex spin, you're going to get repelled because they don't match anymore. They're like fucking pushing against each other or this.
Like, I don't like you. Get away.
Yeah. And that's why really you'll go with this and it kind of slides around.
Yeah, right.
Slides on. Why do you think that happens? Because there's a...
Right, because I was trying to hold it like this, and all it wanted to do was
it wants to kind of slide away. Mm-hmm. Same reason why all orbits end up being elliptical aroundward. If you were to think about this, if gravity was real, we just bend fabric on Earth at that point, okay? And then something would come at Earth and then just fall over the edge and just fall straight into it. That's not how this works at any fucking level, anywhere, period, in the universe. It always comes in and then starts spiraling around it. Why does it do that?
Right.
You got to tell me that it always comes at the perfect angle to do this? Every time? Guaranteed. Universally. They always come at an angle. Bullshit. That's bullshit. It's because they're falling into the vortex flow. I'll go back to this idea that they all say electromagnetism. Electrical magnetism, electromagnetism, electrical, elastic, magnetism, fluid, elastic, fluid, electromagnetism. The electrical part of our ether, of our Mallegoo, is this kinetic, vibrating bands that are happening. That tension, you can like stretch it and then it can reverberate.
I see it.
Yeah, right? And it's so much analogous of how we see all of these scientific things happening all the time, right?
Yeah.
And you can like a quartz crystal, you can press it and it holds, and we call this potential. It's got potential energy. It's holding the energy because the moment you let go, boom, you get the energy. So you don't have it yet. It's potential. It's there. And that's part of the elasticity of it, is that you can, and then it's going to what? It's going to reverberate out. It wants to get back out to its shape. It's got a structure and a shape to itself.
It wants to be free.
Give me free. And like, it's like, rah, like, so like, that's the elasticity part of it, which is what we then declare as a electrical effect. That's the vibration and the kinetic energy going through there. That's the electrical part. Magnetism is the fluid. That's the shape. Now it can morph. Elastic materials can't morph, right? They don't mold and morph. They're just like solid things. Think of like rubber.
Right.
Rubber is elastic, right? It can stretch, bend, right? But can you just like mold it like Play-Doh? Cookie dough? Any kind of dough. So like you need to have the elasticity for the electrical part, but you also need to have shape and fluidity. And that's where the magnetism part comes in that defines the shape, fluidity, blending. It can now break out of the actual natural flow, become its own entity, which is what we are. And then at that point, you can exist within the natural state of this Mallegoo as your own semi-free region, or you'll blend back into it. And so something has to stabilize itself to exist outside of that flow. And that's really what the vortex forms into a magnet, which then breaks free. And now we can start sucking up other ones.
To form
Matter. People.
Matter.
Objects.
So what you're saying is everything's a magnet?
Everything's a magnet, and magnets are vortexes. And the toroidal shape is a kind of an emergent shape that comes from the vortex flow of the fluid. Creates a donut. And we live inside of a donut. So if this is right,
which it feels
the math
very
is
right.
The math is mathing.
I love a good math.
Everything's there, right? But like, it doesn't mean I'm right, okay? Let's make sure we're clear on that. That does not make me right. This is just a theory. I'm trying to get there. I could be fucking wrong, but I feel like I'm really close. And if this is all getting there, that would mean that we are most likely, our universe is a magnet. And we're just living in one. We have a natural flow in energy and fluctuation.
But that's
Where does that
also
come from?
Right. But that's also why you got to get your mind off of like this idea of a magnet in a way. Because like when you think about it, just being like this, something you can buy at the store, you're like, how are we made up of magnets?
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not a magnet. This is not me.
Even though I say I'm attracted to people and I repel people and we have chemistry and all this other shit we say, but then we have energy forces and blah, blah. I'm gonna analogize it all day, but I'm gonna then tell you I'm not a magnet.
No.
No.
Absolutely not. Get your brain and mind out of this idea and think Mallegoo.
Think this idea.
Oh, that's what I meant.
This is really what a magnet is. And that's weird. I get it. I
Right.
totally understand. And this is like one inversion of it because the shape around it is the donut. And we're only seeing the hourglass internal structure of it, which is also a black hole, but we'll get into that later.
So we can't really see the donut shape in a whole lot of anything, right? Because we don't even see the donut shape in these.
No, you can't see that happening to the actual ether or the Mallegoo itself.
You can see it in this thing, right?
That is what this is for. This is a magnetic viewer that will allow you to then start seeing the form of the magnetic lines and the shape of the toroidal field.
Is it? Which way is it?
You know what? Because we left it on that, we ruined it.
What do you mean? What?
Yeah, I gotta most likely buy a new one. Yeah,
we broke
so
it.
there's a fluid in here that's magnetic, and when we left it one way, all the fluid went down. And then,
can you leave it the other way and bring the fluid back?
I have been trying to get it, but it's like it's all around the edges, and I can't get it to come back. So like it doesn't have the real like pop anymore. Now there's a $400 one that I'm going to ask our Awakening series to eventually buy one day. That is multi-dimensional.
That'd be so cool.
And it is crazy, and it's a new type of fluid they use.
Chaz, will you tell the podcast listeners what we have in our hands right now?
Yes. Ultimately, what this is two pieces of glass that are smashed together, but there's a fluid inside, in between, just a very small amount, like a droplet or two. And that fluid is what they call it as a ferrofluid. It's a magnetic fluid. It will, it's magnetic. So when it gets into a magnetic field, it'll start to mold to the magnetic field. And so when you take a magnet and you place it right here and you turn the lights on, you can actually see the toroidal field and shape in the black hole and the spiral, the gold. You can see the whole thing, dude. You've seen this. There's videos on YouTube to go watch.
Right.
Then you can see the guys that have the really nice ones, and like they are just wild to look at. And the different shapes of the magnets and like all the different things you can see out of it and create out of it. And then you just see it so blatantly that like that's a black hole. That is what a black hole is. Magnets are black holes. They are the same thing, just at a totally different scale.
Right.
Everything is a fucking magnet. Everything.
If you're listening to the podcast, go to YouTube and find this video, and we'll have pictures in this segment.
Yeah, and I want to add
video.
links. I'll try to add links to this because there is a specific person that I have spent a lot of time studying under his YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And I truly believe he has a book called God, what is it, like The Truth About Magnetism or something like that? Mm-hmm. And he dives a lot into this. A lot of where a lot of my magnetic ideas and understanding came from is what he was showing and telling me. And he was saying, like, here's the problem is like you're going to look at this. You're going to put a magnet down. You're going to turn the lights on. You're going to see lines. But you see gaps in between the lines. You've seen this, correct?
Right.
And I would like to make sure we put a picture up in the podcast.
Definitely.
For this. And those lines are what everybody calls is the flux lines. There it is. That's a flux line. Why am I seeing a flux line? And people will say, well, that's where, that's where on the ground, that's where magnetic materials will gather into those spots. Okay, well, on this, right here, when there's no fucking iron to go there, there's no magnetic material to go there to then show me visually. I see light coming back at me. But the light is being shined from the side.
Right.
But it's coming up. How does a flux line of electrons flowing in a stream able to do that? Unless you're telling me that magnetism can bend light. Oh, but you don't want to tell me that one, do you? You don't want to tell me that one. So that's off the table. So what the fuck am I seeing then?
So magnetism can bend
For sure.
light?
Yeah, it absolutely can. But we can't observe this because we are doing all of our experiments on Earth in a giant electromagnetic field.
Right.
That's going to overpower anything that you place on top of it to try to experiment with.
And then we're so confused why it doesn't work.
Yeah, and I've
get it.
I've looked at the studies. They don't seem to take account for this. They don't seem to be like, yo, we're sitting in a giant field already, and now we're trying to manipulate the field within a field. Did you account for this?
No.
Negatory.
No.
Actually, I never even really thought about it. I just thought shit should bend, right? Not how that works. Did you go out in the vacuum of space and test it? No. Well, what the fuck are you talking about then? Because you're sitting in a giant one that's going to affect all of that light way more than your stupid little magnet is. That shit pisses me off. So when I look at this and I say, why is the light showing to me? It's because it is, in a sense, the ether, the Mallegoo, is bending into the shape, right? The form of the toroidal donut. So it's actually morphing and warping the space of our reality the same way gravity was said to have been done, but it's really being done by magnetism, and that's creating that shape. And we see the lines because that's where the curve is. And that's where the light will then hit, bounce, and reflect upward.
Whoa.
You're seeing the curvature right there. That is the dip. That's the curve. That's the moment of inertia. From top to, we're going down the hill. And so the light doesn't go over it. It fucking bends up and comes straight back to you. And you see that part. And you just think flux lines.
You said there's a 4-dimensional version of that? What were you saying?
What do you mean?
Another one of the things you were just talking about.
There's different layers where they'll do lights and then another layer of lights and another layer of lights.
Whoa. And
you have a different type of ferromagnetic material that they've come up with that they call as like a superfluid. And then it will actually able to each level of lights are different colors. And now you can see the levels of dimensionality of it. It becomes
sick.
more 3D now.
Yo.
And you don't just see it as a 2D image.
Right, because all we're seeing is a 2D image on this thing.
Correct. When it's a 3D spatial thing happening that your hand's just like, my hand's in it. I'm holding this goo shape in my hand, but I'm so large and it's so small, you're never going to know any of this is happening. So people are like, why don't we ever experience this on Earth? Or why didn't like wood fall into a magnet? You know, it's like, because the wood is already falling into the magnet. It's called Earth, you fucking asshole.
As are we, right?
We are already falling into the magnet. So your magnet is falling into the fucking magnet too.
So you're saying gravity is the cause? That's what the cause of gravity is?
Yeah.
Is you're falling into...
You're falling to the 0 point.
And that's why no one can explain gravity.
You're falling from here. This is the plane of inertia where you go over and down, right? And so the light will hit it and come up to show you, and it will also go downward too, but you don't see that happening. And then anything going into it will then fall and try to get to that place. It's trying to get there. We're trying to get there now, but we have Earth already there, built up from it, and we're just standing way above it.
And now Earth has the Mallegoo to hold its gravitational pull from the sun. So it's now being held up by the Mallegoo from like just... running into the sun, basically?
At the center, you have to... Our Earth is a dynamo. It is an electromagnetic generator. It works in the same kind of principle as... except for it's like fluid dynamics now, because they have an internal... We have an internal, apparently, like iron core. It's liquid, though. It's so hot that it's a liquid core spinning around in a circle. And if you take a liquid magnetic material like mercury and you put it in a donut and you spin it around, you're going to start seeing some weird fucking shit happen.
Oh.
And so that's, I think that's how anti-gravity devices really work. Is like next level. This is all fringe, by the way. I'm trying to get deeper into that part of it. But like spinning it in a donut shape and making it magnetic and then electrifying it, maybe putting a ferromagnet in the center of it. We'll get into that.
Dude, we got to start doing experiments somehow, some way. But like at the same time, could get dangerous. Oh, look, there's an experiment right here.
What do you think the center is supposed to be? So in the end, we are a dynamo and we're creating we're spinning, and that spin is causing our electromagnetic field to then create, right? We're spinning, so we create the flow of the vortex,
right?
And then we create the shape around us. And guess what? I went and did the math. Our magnetic field is between, I guess if it's facing towards the sun, it's about 30,000 miles away because we're being battered by the sun and it like warps it inward. But our tail is between like 700,000 miles to 4 million miles in length. Okay.
I've seen it. That's wild. I've seen graphs of it, not with my
Then
own
go
eyes.
calculate the measurable distance of gravity that things get affected by our gravity. What's the measure? Because in theory, it goes on forever. So if you sat there, you're like, oh, gravity goes on forever, so you would always feel the effects. Fuck you guys. You just muddied that water to do that on purpose. All right, well, then I went deeper. Tell me where it's measurable. Where do we see a measurable effect that would then take an object and make it divert fucking path towards us? I want to know that point. When does that happen? Within 700,000 miles.
I was just about to ask.
It's within the toroidal shape.
All right, so let's go into where
sun.
is when.
The sun?
Mm-hmm.
It's about 12 billion miles out. Pluto is like 9 billion.
The sun is 12 billion out?
Its shape is about 12 billion miles in the field of it.
Okay.
It's the donut. It's about 12 million in diameter.
Whoa.
Yeah, we extend about 1 million out. It extends 12 billion out. And Pluto then would theoretically, being the last planet, major orbiting object, would need to be within that 12 billion mile radius for this to work. And it's like 9 billion. So everything ends up fitting within the shape of the toroidal donut. All gravitational effects, mathematically, are within the donut. Guys, it's one and the same.
Sounds like.
It's one and the same. We are seeing observations of this Mallegoo, and we're then turning around and pretending like those are forces. Those aren't forces. Those are emergence. Those are things that are coming out of dynamics of the Mallegoo. And those dynamics create all of this, and the math says it. Everything says it. Everything's pointing to it.
Everything says it except for mainstream.
Except for the mainstream, yeah. No, it's particles. Yeah, we say they have spin, but they don't spin, but they do spin, but they don't spin, but they do spin.
Like, who needs to know anyways?
Yeah, it's irrelevant.
We're the ones with the degrees, so.
Dude, what? You've done the math? You done the math? That's what I would have heard until I could turn around and say, yes, I fucking have done the math.
I have actually.
In fact, I think I pretty much have done the math, and it fucking does spin because it's a swirling fucking fluid. It's a vortex, which vortexes do what? They fucking spin. Tornadoes? Are they not spinning?
Everything is spiraling.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. Plants, animals, us.
Yeah.
We're all spiraling. I mean, come on.
Yes. And so in the end, man, you could do this for everything. The double slit experiment, we'll just go into it really quickly because it's the most famous one that everybody wants to quote. That's what brought us particle wave duality, is that they shot. I like this idea that they took one photon. I take one photon and I shot the one photon at a fucking slit and it went through two slits. You can't shoot one photon. You can't do that.
Chaz, that sounds crazy.
That's fucking impossible. And they know this. And if you go dive down the road, you'll find out that that's not fucking possible. And they came to the realization that when they shot the photon, it shot a fucking wave in all directions facing forward, which means that it would have naturally gone through both fucking slits because it's a wave of it, not a single particle like they fucking thought. Okay, but let's just play the particle game, okay? They shot one particle at one slit. This particle, we're in the mainstream now. This is what they say, okay? We shot one particle at two slits, all right? But we shot it one slit, but if we had two.
Yeah.
It goes through both slits, gives us a wave pattern.
Whoa.
Well, let's look at it. Let's see what's happening, right? Well, you can't put a camera there because cameras rely on the waves of frequency to arrive to it. But we need to see what's happening over there. But if it's happening over there, it's not coming to us, so we can't see it. Does that make sense?
Sure.
It's a weird concept. When you get to the quantum level,
right?
Observation inherently is interaction. When you want to peek in on the particle and what it's doing, I've got to shoot something to it, bounce it off a mirror, and shoot it back and see what the fuck took place. And when they did that, they suddenly only had particle going through one slit instead of two. And so this idea was, I remember I used to stay up all night
I can imagine it now.
thinking about this idea.
Your hair is like,
Yo, so frustrating, man. The amount of nights that I would just be like confused, like out of my mind. And I'd be like, all right, so you're telling me that when you don't look at the particle, it's a wave. But when you do look at it, it's a particle. So the action of observing it changes what it does. Freaky.
deaky.
Is it though? Because is that really what the fuck is happening?
No, probably not.
No. You shot a wave of energy.
Mm-hmm.
We shot a wave of energy to interact with it. Guess what? Wave interference. Waves hit each other, they go kaboomy, and they shoot out a fucking particle or droplet of energy, and it gets shot through the single hole. Boop! Now you have that one dot, and you think of this as a particle that just decided to, I don't know, they do this thing where they're like, it was a wave until we looked at it, and then it was in superposition. It's everything at one time. That's my favorite. It's all of the things at once. Is the cat alive or dead? It's both.
All at once.
It's all at once. The cat is both alive and it's dead right now. It's both. It's superposition. It can be both at once. This is...
So is that true?
No, because it's just a wave of energy. We sent a wave of energy. We collided with the waves of energy. We created new energy out of that. Nothing broke down and became... It didn't reveal itself. It didn't collapse from its wave function into a particle.
Yeah.
No, it just fucking collapsed. It just collapsed. And if you send two energy forces like that, you're going to get spins of fermions shooting off, or a more photonic look would be both sides shooting off. Because that seems to be the behavior of it when you take two energy forces of the Mallegoo and smash them into each other. You're going to get particles emitted from it. And we look at those as like electrons or photons, which really all that is at the math level is a mass and charge that is being ejected at a wave formation. So it has a frequency, it's a wave, and it just shoots off and dissipates and blends back in like a fluid. And we call that a particle. We call that, that's electron. It's an electron. No, you took energy and you had to smash something together at a really high energy stake to shoot shit off of it. And then you just measured this wave of charge and mass. You're like, fuck, dude, it's the same mass and energy every time. Electron.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's the same, man. It's a fucking electron, you know? And it's like, but it only has half spin. And this other one has like there's a negative half spin. What's this one? It has a positive half spin. And this one is a full spin. But do they spin? Well, no, they don't actually spin. that was always my favorite. It's like, I would go look up, like, are these particles actually spinning? Well, no, they're not. We just conceptualize them that way. So why do we say spin? Well, because they have a spin property to them. And we're like, what the fuck does that mean, dude?
This is real.
Oh,
what you're saying is like how they explain this.
Oh, yeah. No, this is like legitimate. If you went down this road too, you would realize that they call it spin, but then when you ask what's spinning, they'll say nothing's spinning. But then when you say, why do we mathematically say that? They'll be like, there's properties of spin to it. Like, what the fuck is this, dude? You're sending me down a wormhole of bullshit. And
literally.
The spin is the vortex. It's the flow of the fluid. That's the spin. And so it either flows in a clockwise or a counterclockwise, positive, negative, whatever.
Right.
But it's the same concept. You can match all of their bullshit of positive, negative spins to what a vortex would be doing.
So our north and south poles are doing that.
Correct. They're vortexes.
Thing, right?
Yes, they're vortexes right now. And that's why things fall into us in an orbit. That's why the moon is orbiting around us and getting closer. Is because it's essentially in there spinning around trying to get to the center.
It's getting closer?
Technically, yes. Technically. Now,
Shape
we're getting closer to the sun.
Pull back.
Again, we're falling into things.
Right, which means the sun has to be falling into something, which means the galaxy might have to be falling into something, and then the universe might have to be falling into something, or it's just the beginning, and the beginning is the beginning, and then...
You gotta stop asking questions.
I know.
You've gone too deep, dude.
I'm sorry.
That's too deep.
I can't help it. I love questions because they never get answered properly. Never. Unless Chaz is explaining it, and then it's like, oh, you can keep going with me? All right.
That's true.
Let's go.
Dude, I enjoy that shit. I'll ask questions. That's why we get along, man. It's because we both ask questions to the nth degree.
I don't know what that means, but yes, absolutely.
In programming, the nth degree is like forever almost. You can have 1 degree or 1,000,000 degrees. It's the nth degree. It represents all possible numbers.
The nth degree.
The nth degree.
I love that.
Yeah. Programming, by the way, I was meant to learn it because I was meant to learn the math of this. And programming taught me the math of this.
That's the only way you were able to comprehend the math side of all of this?
They're highly correlated. It is weird.
That's awesome, dude.
Everything's based around these idea of variables and functions on both sides. And I know all about it because I've been a programmer for over 10 years. And it helped me. I can start to grasp a lot of it way quicker than I thought I was going to, simply for the fact that it's literally just programming in math.
Dude, that's so cool. We are literally uncovering the secrets of the universe.
We are. I'm science, your spirit, dude. We're uncovering the secrets of the whole universe.
They go hand in hand.
I'm just half of the picture. I say it and I say it and I say it. I am half the picture, dude.
I'm half the picture.
We're the whole.
Whoa.
We are whole together.
Just wait until we get guest speakers on here that are going to blow our little minds. We're going to be like, oh my God, yes, keep pushing. Let's go.
I must ask questions.
I need more questions.
Yeah, dude, that'll be fun. And
it's going to be so good.
Yo, there are a bunch of people I'd love to get on.
There are so many people, many people off the top of my head that I want to bring on here.
Yeah. This is, and speaking of, if anybody has any cobbles, any questions, any arguments, any problems, any reasons I'm wrong, anything that you think about this theory that's like, did you think about this? Please, by all means, challenge me. I got to this point by being challenged by you guys. The way I thought about this a week ago was a fluid. This week, I came to the elastic fluid idea because I was being challenged by you guys, and I was having to then go deeper into what electrons really were, what these things are happening. I started to do the math behind it, going into Planck's constant, trying to figure out what the fuck is happening. Mallegoo theory emerged from you guys. It helped me and challenged me to take another look at what's going on because it didn't make sense the way I was explaining it. I can make it sound good. It didn't make sense to me, though. And I knew this. And that's when the elastic part of it came in. And now it's like, whoa, if this isn't it, then what the fuck am I missing now? This is insane, dude.
And that's the best part about you is you'll challenge your own theories.
Yes.
Even if you feel so strongly about that theory, you're still going to go down that road and be like, I don't know. There's something about it that's I'm missing. I'm missing something. And you will dive down and you do. And you come out on the other end. You're like, I can breathe.
Yeah, dude. That's right. I thought that same. I was like, oxygen.
Yeah.
I can feel it. It's crazy. And this is the truth. It's like, I will defend my side knowing that I could be wrong. And if I can't defend it easily and I can't explain it easily, I don't know it. And I need to take another look at it.
Yeah.
And trying to go down this road, I came to the conclusion that it didn't make sense being a fluid. There were things and properties I couldn't make sense of. And that's when the elastic part came in. And then it all made sense. And even ChatGPT was like, we're already doing this.
You're like, oh my God.
Son of a bitch. Damn it. I haven't thought of anything new. And that's another thing. I try to tell him this is like, I don't think of this as like something I've thought of that no one's ever thought of. This has already been figured out, dude. I have thought of nothing that has not already been accomplished. I'm just a random guy in his basement who came to the same, I finally found the same conclusions as these other people. That's it, you know?
Bro, the secrets of the universe have already been uncovered. It's already out there.
For sure. 100%.
We just have been lied to for so long, and the waters have been muddied and dirt kicked on it and muddied and...
There's a lot of dirt, man. I've been
much dirt.
Do you know how dirty I've been my whole life? Everybody was like, dude, you're nasty and gross.
Boy.
Go back under your bridge and get the fuck out of my face. And I was like,
the troll bridge.
Quantum Mallegoo? And they were like, oh my God, he is crackpot.
Dude, literally.
This guy thinks he knows quantum physics.
Though this theory will blow people's mind. If they're not ready to hear this idea, Well, no, they'll probably just take it and be like, yeah, but you're a crackpot.
That's my thing is like,
they won't even get to the point of being able to have their mind blown because of that reason.
Will not believe this.
No.
And they'll think this is stupid.
Absolutely.
And only a few people out there who have gone down the road to truly understand what's going on will look at this and be like, oh shit.
There's something there. I feel that.
Again, I don't think I'm 100% there. I don't think I'm 100% right, but I do think I'm close enough now that people who have gotten there will look at this and be like, yo, you're like,
you're on the edge.
You're either there or you're right
on
there.
The verge, bro.
I feel like that's,
and that's the best part about these is this community that is being built around Awakening 101, that people are challenging these theories and things. And that gets us thinking so much. And it's beautiful to see an entire community of crackpot conspiracy theorists coming together, trying to uncover the secrets of Harry Potter.
Harry Potter? Trying to tell me how quantum physics works? Yes, I am. I'm fucking trying to tell you how it works.
Yes, he is.
I am. And I get to this point where it's like, I don't know what's going to come from any of this. I don't even care, really. I've just been trying to figure out this shit for myself. You know, I've been on this journey for myself. I never thought I'm going to go do a podcast and I'm going to go talk about this in front of a bunch of people. And everybody's going to start.
I don't even like podcasts.
Yeah, dude. I never thought I would even talk about this to anybody, let alone on a podcast.
Right.
And now I'm at this point where it's like, I dare you to challenge me.
You
better bring that shit, bitch.
We're letting random people inside of our crackpot minds that we've only been talking to each other about for the longest time. And then we're like, you know what? Why not let a community of randos in and then build a community of non-randos?
Yeah. I think that was the way I had to evolve forward from here. Is I think life was telling me, you're going to have to be challenged now. I'm having like 20 to 30 debates on this subject at the same time.
It's so good.
You know, and it's like,
and I'm watching it all happen.
I'm like
yeah.
This person, I got to fight this person. Yeah, dude. And then like random Bible, you know, and it's like, shit, you know, and that has challenged me to push the envelope. And I love that, man. That has been so much fun of like, yo, I think I'm wrong. Like that moment where you like realize you're wrong. I like that moment. You know why? Because that means you're about to fucking uncover what is not wrong anymore. And that's an exciting moment where I'm like, oh, fucking wrong, dude. Ooh. What could be right? And then, you know?
Firing all cylinders at that
That's
point.
when
let's go.
So like, I want to be wrong a lot of the time. Because when you're wrong, you find the right. You just got to be willing to be wrong. And a lot of people aren't willing to be wrong. Yo, it's okay. I'm fucking stupid as shit. I don't give a shit. I'm an idiot. Yeah. I do dumb shit all day.
Except being wrong.
Yeah, I mean, except for Mallegoo theory.
Yeah, no, that's not wrong.
That's not wrong, dude.
You know, I sit on the side of right and wrong doesn't exist.
It's subjective.
It's perspective.
Oh, you blow my mind.
Chaz, what else do we need to tell about the Mallegoo theory?
I'm going to be honest with you. I think that's good for the first episode of this. And I would like to take time now to almost reevaluate.
Listen to this episode, right.
Hear myself even talk about it and kind of evaluate and make sure I'm thinking about this right. Make sure I'm not missing anything.
Sure.
And then we kind of go at another time.
But part 2 is always a must.
Part 2 would be huge, but I think this is a good start of here's where we are, and here's where I am on my thinking of this, and here's how it describes things. You have the elastic side with the structure, kinetic energy, elasticity, and then you have the fluid and the magnetism, shape, geometry, gravity, and these come together. They make the Mallegoo, and this is really what we're experiencing. And I don't like to claim this. It's not like what I wasn't going for this because it's like a hot mainstream thing to say is this technically, yes, would then unify magnetism with gravity. Yes, this would do that. That's not the fucking goal. It is, but it was the goal to unify it. It wasn't the goal to become something, or like, I got to prove Einstein wrong.
Well, right.
I just wanted to know. And I just knew deep down gravity is not a fucking force. It is an observation of something. And then I realized it is magnetism. You can't run from this, dude.
And I've heard a lot of people questioning gravity recently. I've never heard of the idea of being questioned on gravity. Again, no science here, really. I'm just learning from Chaz. But like, I haven't heard people question gravity until I met him. And I was like, wait a second. Yeah, you're right. What is gravity? But then I keep hearing more and more people talking about like, yeah, no one can explain it. No one can actually tell me what gravity is. And I'm like, more people think like this, don't they? Okay. I think you're onto something, man. Like
I think I'm just willing to take the fucking time, and I'm willing to struggle.
You're willing to be wrong.
I'm willing to be wrong. I don't care to be wrong. I don't care about any of that. I don't care how long it takes me. I don't care if I don't fucking get it for a year. I don't care about any. I just want to get there.
Yeah.
And whatever it takes to get there. And we have been lied to. We need to reevaluate all of this. I think people coming together with what I've started with, the foundation, and starting to carry it on.
Yep.
People are
Absolutely.
going to take this and think of things that I've never fucking thought of. They're going to conceptualize shit. They're going to mathematically pull off shit that I would never have thought of. That's the whole point, though.
Right.
Here's the foundation. Let's build from it. And that, to me, is like, we're just on this journey, man. Everybody doesn't know shit. We all don't know shit.
Yes.
You know? So, like, I still don't know shit.
Nope.
I can pretend like I do all day up here, okay?
I love it.
But, like, we really don't. I don't. Because what is the Aether? What is the Mallegoo actually made of?
Just wait until we get beyond the universe.
That's...
Like, there are certain aspects to this that it's like, well, you can only knock down so many doors until you, like, I don't have the pieces of this puzzle anymore. I don't.
Are we starting a secondary podcast after we're done with this one that's like uncovering the secrets of the next universe? You know?
Yes. Yes.
You know, like we've already uncovered the last one.
Yeah. Now we're going to the next universe.
We're here to the next one.
Yep.
Welcome, guys. We're at the next universe.
To number 2. Oh, that sounds terrible. If you like this kind of content and want more, please follow along with us. We have YouTube, we have TikTok, and we have places you can subscribe and follow along. We're going to do so much with this concept, idea, community. A lot's going to be, coming up around the corner in the next couple of months. Stay tuned, follow along. It has been an incredible journey for this past month. We're literally a month in, maybe a month and some days, but it has been nothing but absolutely incredible. And from a month ago, we would think us now are crackpots because of how much we've learned.
Yeah, dude.
Like, no kidding. We think completely differently than we did a month ago because of this podcast. How crazy is that?
I really do.
Imagine a year from now, we'll look back at these versions of us and be like, yo, they didn't know anything.
I know. It'd be like me believing in the graviton again.
At that point, we might be able to levitate.
Yo, what if we were just floating, talking on a podcast?
Yeah, that'd be.
Oh, would you like to ascend with us?
Come awaken.
Yo, dude, come on. That would be sick as shit. Are you serious? And if you don't follow us when we're floating on video,
I mean, come on.
Dude, get the fuck off TikTok,
Yeah,
dude.
get out of here, bro.
What are you doing here, man?
I can see the wire.
Yeah, he's definitely hanging. He's behind. It's a green screen. I see it. He's glowing. He's glowing green. I see the pixelization. Nah, bitch, we floating, dude.
Floating on goo.
I'm floating on that Mallegoo. I'm just riding the fluctuations of the Mallegoo.
Bro, we're going to manipulate the Mallegoo.
That would be sick as shit. I'm the more time that I don't believe that we can, but I'm all in for trying.
Let's go.
I'm willing to get there, and I have now learned enough to know our universe and our world is way more mystical and magical and just insane that we can't grasp, and we've been held back, dude. I'm sorry, but it's all there.
Chazzle Dazzle, we live in a fantasy world. 100% fantasy. And it is incredible. If you open your mind, open your eyes, it is absolutely spectacular. And I'm telling you, believe in the impossible.
Yo, I just said that magnets are a fucking tornado.
Magnets are us. We are magnets.
Everything's a magnet and they're all
Everything's a
tornadoes.
magnet.
Guys, anything's possible. Wake up.
So, Chaz, because these amazing live TikTok viewers, I want to do a Q&A after this. I want to restart the live and name the title Q&A
Okay.
with Chazzle Dazzle.
Ooh, I like the dazzle.